It's episode 292, and today we're going to be talking about villains. So this is the show where we search far and wide across the Bionicle community in search for LEGO creations that can give you a bit of inspiration. So we're going to take a look at a few villains today, and we're going to focus on like the techniques, the color schemes, and different ways of approaching building a villain character. And yeah, of course, the BioCup 2023 is running right now, and the theme is villains. So if you want to join in on the contest and build a villain, hopefully this can give you a few ideas. Or you can just build a villain and not submit it to the BioCup. It's completely up to you. So let's start off with a mock by Mischief, and this is Hothead. I think the overall concept of this is actually really fun. So there's obviously a bunch of TNT, and I guess this is some sort of explosives expert. When I see TNT, I guess it kind of reminds me of like cartoon villains using explosives to take out the good guys. And I mean, yeah, obviously heroes can use TNT as well, but I guess this kind of striking red color of, bombs and TNT and stuff, it evokes a sense of evil to a degree. And I mean, seeing it partnered with a mock that's entirely black in color, to me, black and red together have a very villainous flair to them. I mean, here's a bunch of villain characters that have a black and red color scheme. It just kind of works. So even though the description on Flickr says he's actually a really nice guy, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff working on this that certainly gives off an air of villainness. The belt across the chest with a bunch of TNT on it is a really fun aesthetic, and it appears that it's attached with a DOTS bracelet piece. It's pretty simple, but a very effective way of doing that. And now continuing the TNT aesthetic with all these crates on the bottom is a very clever idea. I think 100% adding little accessories underneath a mock that aren't maybe inherently attached is always a really fun way to present your mock. It's especially good in the BioCup, I would argue, too. Yeah, I think that's clever because when you take away those crates, there's not actually that much TNT on the character. So putting that around there really accents and sort of hits home that explosives, idea with this character. Now, on the subject of that, of course, I'm sure you're wondering what the deal is with this big bomb piece that's on the top of the head. Well, first of all, I love that concept. I think that's so dorky and just kind of a really fun head design. And honestly, villains are so easy to lean into that kind of comical and cartoon vibe. Sure, they can be super serious, and that often works very well too. Super serious villains are great. But I don't know, there's a good place for the goofy boys in Villain Town. Definitely lean into that if you're planning on building a villain, or don't. It's completely up to you. But this is a official LEGO piece, this bomb piece. It is here on Bricklink if you want the piece name and number and all that sort of stuff. But it only came in one set, and it's this awesome Duplo pirate ship set, which actually looks really cool. 100%. There's a more or less huge-sized bomb piece that appeared in a Duplo set made for kids. So there you go. But yeah, it works beautifully on the top of this head design here for this character. It's just so fun. Up next, Roses Must Build has built Wilson Pigsk. So this is so great. I love the idea of making a parody of another character, especially when it's a kind of a pun parody like this. So combining Wilson Fisk from Marvel and a pig, very clever, especially because it works with the name. Now, there's no reason you can't do this with your own villains as well. I think sometimes some of the best ideas are just really simple combinations of two things smooshed together. For example, turtle ducks from Avatar. Turtle and duck, and suddenly, cutest animal in the world is a winning combination, as is Wilson Fisk and a pig. So definitely have a think about that. What kind of things could you just combine together and make something awesome with that winning combination when you're building your own villain characters? Now, this is a very system-heavy mock, but I think it still works. I mean, for example, the design of the hooves, or the hoof feet, I guess, and the hands, they do look very pig-like, but they also still pass as looking humanoid enough. And I think that's all thanks to those system pieces. It would be difficult to do that with Bionicle parts. There is also a nice whack of Technic pieces on the coat on the back of this mock, and they blend into the system pieces towards the top of the torso on the back here really, really well. It's just magnificent how that all flows together like that. I think the coat really is one of the best parts of this mock, and just all the clothing in general really sells this concept so well. It's just gorgeous to see. The head design is also so well made. There's just so much life and character behind this. Using the basket piece from like the Red Riding Hood minifigure, for example, as the snout or the nose, such a clever choice. And then the idea of using minifigure arms as eyebrows here gives this just a perfect sinister expression. I think it's really worth noting how much a facial expression can convey a villain or at least showcase a sinister character. If you're going to use a mask piece on a villain that you're planning on building, definitely pick out masks that just look evil or were used on villain characters. Or if you are making a more complex face like this, can you give them evil eyebrows like this? Or, what sort of stuff can you do to the face design that really brings out like villainous intent? Going for like kind of sharper angles or spikes and things like that is often a good go-to method. But by all means, just study like villain characters on Google, type that in, or just look up your favorite villains and just study how the face design is done and see how you could maybe replicate that if you're doing a complex face design like this. That's a way to approach it. But yeah, such a cool concept, brilliant execution, amazing mock. This guy's so good. GK733 has built a mock called Demons to Some, Angels to Others. So this is obviously taking a lot of inspiration from Pinhead, and I think that was a really good idea to take inspiration from because the end result is very clear how that's taken inspiration from it, and it looks so cool. Seeing a bunch of Harry Potter ones attached into those 1x2 round plates in white, and then somehow attaching them onto the Witch Doctor mask, that is so cool. Such a striking visual and a striking face design. Skulls and other kind of horror movie imagery, I think, are really good sources of inspiration for villains. So if you like watching horror movies, it's definitely something to have a look at right now if you want to build villains, because there's a wellspring of fantastic stuff you could look into within that genre. We have another dots bracelet on the torso. This time it's not really attached to anything, it's just there as a part of the aesthetics. It's more of a belt here, and I like that because the belt sort of separates the torso from the legs and makes the cloth element look like two separate pieces. I guess it's more of like a dress, I suppose, and a shirt up the top. So yeah, a bit of fashion there, but it looks, I think, really nice. And I just love Dot's pieces, and anytime you see him on a Bionicle mock, it makes me happy. I love how these black Liwa masks flow from the torso into the arms. I almost just missed those entirely. It wasn't until I was taking a closer look at this to write notes for the show that I realized how beautifully those have been integrated there. And a few other gold pieces integrated into it as well. That's just so cool, Brilliant shaping like that is always so impressive. So yeah, really well done. And I also love the editing on this. It's gorgeous, but the way that these sort of hovering chain blade things look is very cool. And there's also a photo here which is like an unedited version of the character. So cool to see how those have been attached and then how they've been sort of edited around that. And yeah, look, if you're good at Photoshop or good at editing or whatever, don't hesitate to do cool edits like this. What I like about this edit is that it's still really easy to see all the details within the character, like the cool kind of mist effect and everything and some of the glowing and stuff. It doesn't really detract or take away from what you can visually see. And I don't know, at least personally, that's the sort of stuff that I like to see with edits. I don't really like it where edits have really like dramatic lighting or whatever and you can't see parts of the mock, because as you can probably tell from this show, I really like to dive into the nitty-gritty details of all of the character builds and Bionicles or any LEGO creation and see how everything is built. And when the edits make it a bit difficult to see what's going on, it's not always the best. But hey, if you can do little subtle edits like this that really enhance the character, do it, because man, it looks so cool. We've got ourselves a revamp of Makuta Pterodax now, and this is built by Zork71 over on Twitter. I mean, of course, Makuta Pterodax is the villain of the Bionicle story, so makes sense to include him in this villain-themed episode. But yeah, great to see old Terry here being reimagined with more modern CCBS parts, and just given a little bit more, I guess. It's nice to see him with these digitigrade legs. Certainly feels very devil-like, and you often see that in different interpretations of the devil, that they have those goat legs. So just makes sense to give that to Makuta Pterodax. And I think that style of leg design lends itself very nicely to villain characters, so very appropriate here. I enjoy that they've also kept the big bulky shoulders. I think with the original Pterodax set, those were very much a staple to the character, and I think removing them just wouldn't have made him look that much like Pterodax. So I like that they're still here in some way. And it's also great that this is, actually a revamp of Pterodax. If you're looking for ideas for villains, revamp some of the original Bionicle villains from any of the different villain-themed sets. There's so many to choose from and so many great character designs. So again, another wellspring of awesome inspiration there. I love the inclusion of this kind of tailcoat on the back. It's got some really great energy to it, some big sort of spiky angles and just kind of dramatic lines to it. And I think that really evokes a nice villainous flair. The same can, I think, be said for the rad arm kind of blades that he's got going on there. Whether or not those are weapons or he's just got really like spiky shoulders or whatever, who cares? It looks cool. It looks really cool. There's also a shot here with Pterodax not having any armor on. And it's always great to see how a frame is designed and how the armor is then put on top. It's interesting to see that the torso is very hollow here, and the fact that it uses a few pistons and there's certainly a few ball joints in there as well. It looks like it would be fairly posable, which is nice to see. It didn't really look like there was too much posability going on in these images, but I don't know, the way it's designed, it looked like it probably would have posability there. So I guess it just wasn't posed too much in the images, but no dramas there. It looks cool, and I can appreciate the design. Really nice work. And real quick, we got a quick bonus mock by Patty Bricksplitter, and this is Harley Quinn. So yeah, I mean, look, if you're going to build a villain, another thing to take a bunch of inspiration from is pop culture. There's all sorts of different villains from superhero movies, TV shows, all sorts of stuff. Why not just build them in Bionicle form? It makes a lot of sense. Now, this is a great take on Harley Quinn. I love the simplicity of this design. The legs and the arms, they use very few pieces, but designing them in such a slim way makes the character look very cartoonish and dynamic, and very much goes back to the roots of this character. So, yeah, I like that. The 90-degree bend in one of the arms here, and even the kind of hip rotation here, gives it so much personality, and again, captures the essence of the character really, really nicely. Plus, if you're low on Bionicle parts, if you do a design very similar to this, which uses very few pieces, but still captures the essence of the character, you can get away with having maybe, less Bionicle parts and maybe amping up the system just a little bit, but you might still be able to get the Bionicle to system ratio more or less 50-50 if you want. Plus too, if you want to enter the Bio Cup and you're like, I don't really have too much time, just build something small and simple like this, but pack it full of character and pack it full of some really clever techniques, and you're going to have a really cool mock. One little thing I wanted to touch upon here is the choice of axles. Didn't think I'd ever say something like this on the show, but it's so subtle, but it's so cool. The idea of using here a red axle on the arm that is primarily black and a black axle on the arm that is primarily red is very clever because it continues that sort of 50-50 split of red and black. Another color scheme we touched upon earlier in the episode. It's just a subtle thing because you can just see it through the crack of that joint there. But it works, and it works really, really well. So a little tiny thing, but it's very clever. Alright, that's it for a bunch of villains. If you are planning on entering the Bio Cup, best of luck. If you still need a bit of inspiration, you can always chuck me a message or leave a comment below, and I'll see how much I can help you if you need some help. I'm also helping a few people right now who've been messaging me about their Bio Cup mocks, looking for critique and stuff like that, so more than happy to lend a hand if you need it. Just message me on Discord. I'll do my best to reply. I'm a bit busy at the moment, but I'll do my best. If you're interested in seeing more from the builders that we saw today, check the links in the description below. Their social media links are there for you to browse and comment and like their stuff. Additionally, in the description below is links to my own social media, so you can see stuff that I've got going on over there. And if you want to submit mocks to the show, you can submit them through the submission email that's on your screen right now. It's also in the description below if you want to copy and paste it and put it in an email. Thank you very much for watching. Happy building, and bye for now.